Good, good day everyone. We are now in the contracts. Tapos na tayo sa obligations. Thank you for my students who volunteer to discuss the extinguishment of the obligation. Now we are in the general provision of the contract. Okay, let's start. We are going to discuss the following. Going to define what is contract, a distinguished form of the contract from obligation and agreement, and then what are the stages of contract, classification or kind of contract, and we will be dealing more on the characteristics of contract or the basic principle of contract. Okay, let's start with Article 1305. So 1305, this defines the contract, which defines as a contract is a meeting of mind. Yung ano lang, consent lang ng dalawang party, two or more parties na mag-agree and then meron ng contract. O para ngayon pa lang alam natin or itatanong ko kayo, no, is it really necessary that the contract must be in written form or kailangan ba naka-writing siya agad? Ano answer niyo? Sige, comment it down below. Yung first three na magka-comment will have an additional points. Yan. Kasi syempre, di ba, most probably magiging online na naman tayo next week or the following days kasi sobra talaga ang taas ng temperature. So, comment it down below. So, the answer is no. May mga kontrata lang na it is talagang kailangan or sinasabi ng batas na kailangan naka-written pero hindi necessarily nakasulat o nakapapel ang kontrata. Diba sa definition sa 1305, sabi dyan, a contract is a meeting of mind between two person or two or more person na nag-enter into a contract. So, hindi siya kailangan in writing. So, maliwanag yun na. And now, let's distinguish contract from obligation. Ang contract is one of the sources of obligation. Diba na ano natin yan na sabi natin nung obligation pa ang discussion natin sa Title 1 na contract is one of the sources of obligation. So, obligation naman is the legal tie or relation itself that exists after the contract has been entered into. So, mas malawak ngayon ng obligation kumpara mo sa contract kasi yung kontrata, there can be no contract if there is no obligation. But obligation hindi may exist even without a contract. Sorry, typo. Mas broader o mas malawak ngayon ang obligation. Ang extinguish naman natin o distinguish naman natin ang contract from agreement. A contract are agreements. Lahat ng kontrata ay agreements yan between two or more parties. Pero not all agreements are contract. Diba? Hindi naman lahat ng uuuhan nyo, may kontrata na kayo. Diba? So, mas broader ngayon ang contract kumpara sa agreement. So what are the stages of a contract? Stages in a life of contract is that number one, preparation, and then perfection, and then consummation. Pag sinabing preparation, yung preparatory step, nandito yung bargaining, ito yung negotiation, wala pang, hindi pa nag-agree yung isa. Kumbaga, nini-negotiate niya pa, nag-uusap pa kayo na, o ano, itutuloy ba natin to, gusto mo ba, o ano, or wala pang acceptance yung isa, kaya in preparation. Sa perfection, meeting of mind regarding the subject matter and the cause of the contract. Sa consummation naman, eto na yung tapos na. Kumbaga, okay na. Tapos na yung, what do you call this? Na-extinguish na yung contract. Okay. Magbibigay ako example. Halimbawa, eto si Lakas at saka si Ganda. Si Lakas, sabi ni Lakas, bibenta ko yung kotse ko. Kunyari, June 6. Sabi ni Lakas, bibenta ko na sa iyo yung kotse ko ng 1 million. Sabi ni Ganda, ay, nung kinabukasan, sige, bibiling ko ng 800. Dahil nga kailangan ni Lakas ng pera, kinabukasan ulit, June 8, pumayag na siya. O sige. Tapos si Ganda naman, nagbayad na rin siya ng 800. So this one, ito yung stages. Nung June 6, may preparation. Diba? May preparation na, nag-decide si Lakas na ibebenta kay Ganda yung kotse niya. Nung kinabukasan naman, may perfection na ng contract. Kasi nag-agree na si Lakas, nag-agree din si Ganda na magbayad, and then ang consummation, na dineliver na ni Lakas yung kotse kay Ganda at si Ganda naman nagbayad na. So, kumbaga tapos na yung contract. So, what are the classification of contract? Ang kontrata po ay makaklasify into different forms. So, number one is according to perfection or formation. Ang unang-una dyan sa perfection is consensual. Pag sinabi mo consensual, sige, bibenta ko sa'yo, nag-agree yung dalawang party na ibibenta, umuo yung isa. So, yun, na may consent ng dalawa. So, consensual and then real. Requires not only the consent of the party for their perfection, but also the delivery of the things by one party to another. So, halimbawa niyan, deposit, pledge, diba? Yung, sa una, yung consensual, yung sale. Ito naman, comodatum, halimbawa, sinabi niya, peram nga ng ballpen mo, comodatum. So, nag-agree yung isa, binigay nung isa, nag-agree siya, binigay niya, pinahiram niya. So, there is a real contract. So, number 3 is formal. It requires formal form like donation and mortgage. Dito, kailangan talaga in written. So, it requires a particular form. So, kailangan niya talaga in written form. Yung iba nga, kailangan notaryado pa. Diba? And then next is according to the cost or equivalent value of the prestation. Kung ano yung halaga nung isang bagay o nung subject. Pag sinabing onerous, each party ay magbe-benefit dun sa isa. Yung isa magbabayad, yung isa may ibibigay na something na katumbas nung ibabayad ng isa. So, each of the party ay as forced to procure for himself a benefit through giving of equivalent or compensation. Halimbawa, sale. Pag gratuitous naman, yung isa lang ang may benefit, yung isa naman wala. Comodatum, 'di ba? Pag remunerative, yung magbabayad ka sa service na binigay previously. So, papantayan mo kung ano man yung service na ibinigay niya. Next is according to the degree or dependence. So, principal, a contract is principal kasi it can stand alone. kumbaga, the contract can stand independently. Hindi mo na kailangan ng iba. Example, ang sale. Hindi mo na kailangan ng iba pang requisitos para masabi mong it can stand alone. Pag accessory naman, kailangan mong here, example is mortgage and pledge, kailangan may loan para may mortgage ka. May mortgage ka. So it exists only as a consequence of or in relation with, 'di ba? Or another prior contract. May naunang kontrata, ito ay isusunod mo lang. Example is mortgage. Pwede rin namang preparatory. Ang contract na to is halimbawa hindi pa siya in preparation pa lang. Halimbawa, partnership, agency, ang partnership, for example, magiging partner tayo next year. So, we have to set like this. So, meron na kayong contract na magiging partner kayo next year. So, you are in a preparatory stage pa lang. Okay. Next po is according to parties obligated. According to parties obligated, sino ang obligado? Ito, pwedeng unilateral. Huwag kayong malilito dito. Di ba sabi natin, ang contract is by a consent. Pag sinabing unilateral, a contract is one which give rise to an obligation for only one of the parties. Halimbawa, comodatum, di ba? Nanghiram ka ng bike. Obligado mo na ibalik yung bike na yun ulit. Isa lang yung nag-benefit, 'di ba? Pero may consent pa rin dapat. Ibig sabihin ng unilateral, isa lang yung nag-benefit. Halimbawa gratuitous deposit, isa lang yung magbe-benefit doon, 'di ba? Pero may consent. Dapat may consent pa rin. Pag sinabi bilateral, one which gave rise to reciprocal obligation for both parties. So, meron silang benefit pareho. Yung isa, nagbenta, babayaran siya ng equivalent amount. Pero, pag sinabi mong bilateral, ilan yung tao na involved dyan? It is more than one. Diba? Kunyari, nag-list siya, nag-upa siya, o kaya nagbenta. Yun. Name. According to name or designation. Pag sinabing according to name or designation, it can be a nominate or innominate. Pag sinabing nominate, yung contract in which has a name that is regulated by a special provision of the law. Halimbawa dito, pag nominate, pag sinabi mong sales, ang nag-govern dito syempre yung law of sales, sa list, ganun din. Deposit, agency. So, meron na siya. May provision na ang batas na ito yung, kumbaga, meron na siyang name. Number 2 is innominate. No specific name or designation in law. Walang itinalaga ang batas na pangalan para sa kanya. So, ano yung mag-govern doon sa pag sinabing innominate kasi walang name or designation? The stipulation itself, siyempre. Yung kasunduan ng dalawa o mas madami pang party, yun yung mag-govern na law. Next, according to the subject matter. Pag subject matter involving things, pag sinabing involving things, may bebenta ka, may pledge ka, may deposit ka. Involving the right or credit, kumbaga rights, yung use of fact, yun yung gagamitin mo na hindi ka naman magbabayad. O assignment of credit, so di ba? So, it has a subject matter. So, involving service, example is agency list of services. Ito maraming kasi 'di ba? Maraming classification of contracts. Pero may idadagdag ako ito. Kasi mababasa niya naman yan sa book. The other classification, you're going to read it sa book. But maybe it can be, ito i-add ko lang yung ordinary sa sales. Diba? May yung number of person who participated in the drafting of a contract. Pag ordinary, syempre dalawa, both parties involved doon sa drafting ng contract. Kagaya ng sales, mag-agree yung dalawa bago yung delivery of the thing and yung payment for that thing. Now is a contract of adhesion. dito ang contract of adhesion, parang yung isang party, you are just going to say yes or no. Halimbawa kasi, example ko dito is insurance contract. Pag insurance contract, di ba pag insurance, ang mga agent dito, piniprepare na nila. Nasa sa'yo na lang kung i-accept mo or hindi. Kumbaga, pipirma ka na lang kung gusto mo yung preparation nila. So, dito, yung parang take it or leave it. Parang gano'n. Take it or leave it pag contract of adhesion. Kasi may pina-prepare na ng isang party. It's really for the other party to say yes or pwede na reject or say no. Okay. So let's go to the next article, 1306. Ano yung 1306? It is the an, autonomy of contract. Bakit? The contracting parties may establish such stipulation, clauses, term, and condition as they may deem convenient, provided they they are not contrary to law, morals, good custom, public orders, or public policy. Maraming tawag sa kanya. Minsan tinatawag siya sa ibang book na freedom of stipulation, autonomy of will, principle of freedom, principle of autonomy of contract. Pero dito, in our discussion, mas ano ko siya na autonomy of contract. Bakit autonomy of contract? The contracting parties may establish such stipulation. Pwede nilang ilagay kahit anong stipulation ang gusto nila basta provided they are not contrary to law, moral, good custom, public order, or public policy. Halimbawa, di ba sa mga kontrata, nagbebenta ng boto, di ba, nagsisell ng vote, di ba, contrary to law yun, hindi pwede yun. Or, contrary to public policy. Kaya naman, ipapasa ko yung mga estudyante ko without doing anything or complying with nothing. So, it is against moral naman. Ito lang yung sinasabi ng 1307. Next, 1306, I'm sorry. So 1307, a nominate contract shall be regulated by the stipulation of the party, by the provision of Title 1 and 2 of this book, by the rules governing the most analogous nominate contract, and by custom of the place. Halimbawa nito, di ba sabi natin kanina, pag nominate, pag sale, di ang mag-govern sa kanya law of sale kasi nominate siya. So, may mga provision for them. Paano yung mga in-nominate contract nga naman? Sa in-nominate contract, it shall be regulated or regulated by the stipulation of the party itself. Diba yung 1306, may under stipulation ng mga party. Basta hindi lang siya against custom, good moral, and public order or public policy. Yung stipulation of the party, yung dinidiscuss natin doon dito sa Title 1 and 2, obligation and contract of this book. And then, halimbawa may isang contract, kung saan siya pinakamalapit o pinakakapareho, yun ang mag-govern sa kanya. Yung most analogous nominate contract, kung saan siya pinakamalapit na pwede mong i-compare, yun ang mag-govern sa kanya. And by the custom of the place, kung saan siya ginawa yung contract or kung ano yung kaugalian doon sa lugar na yon, it will be governed by the custom of the place. Okay? There are 4 kinds of innominate contracts. Here it is. Do at this, I give that you may give. Do at fascias, I give that you may do. Fascio at this, I do that you may give. Fascio at fascias, I do that you may do. Okay. 4 kinds of innominate contract. So let's go to the next article, yung 1308. So 1308, the contract must bind both contracting parties. Its validity or compliance cannot be left to the will of one of them. O ito yung principle of mutuality of contract. Sabi natin, di ba, the contract must be bind for both contracting parties. So, dapat nag-agree yung dalawang parties. And it is, hindi pwede mo namang i-left sa isa lang na party ang pagdidesisyon na, oh, it is absolute that, di ba, na, na na ito dapat ang gagawin natin. So, let me give you an example. Halimbawa, ito si Lakas. Sabi ni Lakas, si Lakas at si Ganda, Lakas agreed to sell the car to Ganda. Tapos si Ganda naman agreed to pay 1 million. Pero sabi ni Lakas, ang stipulation, naka-stipulate that stipulation stating that Lakas alone will determine the price of the car and Ganda has no right to negate on the decision of Lakas. So, ang control over the thing is kay Lakas lang. So, hindi pwede. Kailangan it must be consensual. It must be an agreement between the two of them, yung price and the stipulation. It is against the mutuality of contract. Diba? Okay, ito, one more. Ba't nawala yung pangalan nilang dalawa? Lakas sell, Lakas deliver, sell his car to Ganda and pay 1 million. Ang bad bargain ba in itself will violate the mutuality of a contract. It does not necessarily violate the mutuality of the contract, yung bad bargain. Kasi kung mag-agree si other party with the agreement na binigay nitong isa, eh, bad bargain itself will not contradict with the mutual or will not violate the mutuality of a contract. Okay. Article 1309. Siyempre, for every rule, there is an exemption. Sabi nga natin, di ba? So, the determination of the performance may be left to the third person whose decision shall not be binding until it has been made known to both parties. May exemption yung principle of mutuality of a contract. Ito yun. Halimbawa, yung decision, di ba kanina, sabi natin, that with the value of a thing or dapat nag-limit yung mind nila, may consent dapat para matuloy yung contract. So dito sa sinasabi naman sa 1309, ang pagdidesisyon will be left to the third person. Sabi niya. Bigyan ko kayo ng example. Halimbawa ito. Si Lakas at saka si Ganda. Si Ganda ngayon ang magbebenta ng malawak niyang lupain. Si Ganda ang magbabayad ng malawak niyang lupain kay Lakas at magbebenta. Ngayon, hindi niya masabi kung magkano. So, nandito si Bayani. Si Bayani ang magsasabi kung magkano kasi siya ay real estate appraiser. Alam niya kung magkano. So, si Bayani magsasabi kung magkano. Pero, yung nila, sabi nga sa 1309, it shall not be binding yung contract hanggang hindi alam ng both parties kung magkano, kung ano yung stipulation o ano yung sinabi ni third person. So magpa-price si Bayani, mag-a-agree yung dalawa to make it a valid contract. Okay. Next, Article 1310. So, the determination shall be obligatory if it is evidently inequitable. In such case, the court shall decide what is equitable under the circumstances. Kailangan fair din yun. Kailangan fair din ang decision ng third party when it comes to deciding for the for both parties. Okay. Next principle. Ito. The principle of relativity of contract. So contract takes effect only between the parties in their assigned years. Their assigns 8 years. So except in case where the right and the obligation arises from the contract are not transmissible by their nature or by stipulation or by provision of law. The heir is not liable beyond the value of the property he received from the decedent. If the contract should contain some stipulation in favor of a third person, he may demand its fulfillment provided he communicated his acceptance to the obligor before its revocation. The mere incidental benefits or interest of a person is not sufficient. The contracting parties must have clearly and deliberately confer a favor upon the third person. So dito man tayo sa first paragraph. Ang first paragraph will take effect only, the contract will take effect only between the parties. At saka dun sa mga na-assign niya. Assign niya, halimbawa, may trustee siya, may agent siya, and syempre yung kanyang tagapagmana, heirs. Except syempre kung ang obligation ng contract ay hindi na transmittable. O bigyan ko kayo ng isang example. And yung heirs is not liable beyond the value of the property he received. Kunyari, nakatanggap siya ng mano ng 1,000,000. May utang yung, ah, may utang yung, ano niya, decedent niya, yung natanggap, may utang yung decedent niya ng 1,000,000. Ngayon, ang naiwan naman nun ay, for example, 750,000 lang. So, hindi niya nababayaran yung buong 1,000,000, kundi 750 lang kasi yun lang ang bigay sa kanya. Pero, kung halimbawa naman, ang naiwan niya ay, for example, ang naiwan ni decedent ay 3 million. Ang utang niya 1,000,000. Babawasin muna yung 1 million bago paghatian ng mga heirs yung natitirang 2 million. Okay. Bigyan ko yung example. Halimbawa, si Lakas nagkautang kay Ganda. Okay. Si Ganda ngayon ay namatay. Saan ibabayad mawiwave ba yung utang ni Lakas? Hindi. Magbabayad si Lakas dun sa mga heirs ni Ganda. Di ba pag mana pinag-aawayan, ayan, nag-aaway-away na sila sa treasure box. Now, paano kung baligtad? Okay. Si Lakas nagkautang kay Ganda. Okay. Namatay ngayon si Lakas. Sino ang magbabayad ng utang? Siyempre, ang galit niyang mga ang galit na tagapagmana ni Lakas kasi iniwanan sila ng bayarin na 1,000,000 para kay Ganda. Okay? Isa pang example. Pag sinabing not transmittable, di ba nandun sa first paragraph ng 1310 ba yun? It is not transmittable. Paano kung not transmittable by the provision of law? For example, partnership, di ba? Pag sinabing partnership, partner si Lakas at si Ganda. Hindi naman yan maipapasa agad sa ears ni Lakas para maging partner ni Ganda unless, di ba kailangan din consensual din o may consent para sa partnership, and the death of the partner will extinguish the partnership. So, hindi siya transmittable. Okay. So, another principle of of re, relativity of contract. Halimbawa, si Ganda ngayon, ibibenta niya yung van niya kay Lakas. Pero sabi ni Ganda, ang agreement nila ni Lakas na hindi siya ibebenta until full payment na ni Lakas. Ngayon makulit si Lakas. Binenta niya ngayon kay Makisig yung van. So what will happen? Can Ganda cancel the contract of Lakas to Makisig? No. Kasi hindi na labas naman siya sa usapan nitong dalawa. So what will be the remedy of Ganda? Ang pwede lang gawin ni Ganda is Ganda can claim for damages for breach of contract against Lakas. Kasi hindi niya naman pwedeng idamay na si Makisig. So, ang contract ay between Lakas and Ganda. So, Ganda can claim damages from Lakas. Okay. Isa pa. One more para mas malinaw. What if ganito? Si Lakas, meron siyang property. Upahan niya, list his property to Ganda. Pero, sabi ni Lakas, wag mong, ayoko ng sublist. O kaya ayoko, dahil ikaw umupa, hindi ka pwede magpaupa. Ito rin naman si Ganda, dahil friend niya si Yumi. Sabi ni Yumi, friend, kailangan ko ng space para magtayo ako ng sarili kong preschool. So, sabi naman ni Ganda, ay, oo nga, tama-tama, may inuupahan akong building. Inupahan ko kay Lakas. So, sige, umupa ka sa akin. Sabi naman ni Ganda kay Yumi. Now, nalaman ngayon ni Lakas. Anong ginawa ni Lakas? Lakas go to the court to rescind the list of contract. Pwede ba mag-oppose si Yumi? Yes or no? Sige, comment it down below. Pwede ba magsabi si Yumi na ay hindi pwede kasi umuupa ako kay Ganda. Hindi mo pwedeng i-resend ang list. Sabi niya. Pwede ba? Pwede bang sabihin ni Yumi yun? Hindi. Hindi niya pwedeng i-contest o i-oppose si Lakas kasi wala naman siya sa kontrata nila ni Ganda. So, it is the principle of relativity of contract. Okay, let's go to the second paragraph of 1311 kasi yun yung ito na pala, na-discuss ko na sa inyo. If the contract should contain some stipulation favorable to the third person, he may demand the fulfillment provided that he communicate this acceptance to the obligor before the revocation. A mere incident benefits or interest of a person is not sufficient. So, let's discuss muna ito. The stipulation 4 or 3 requirements. There must be a stipulation in favor of the third person. So, meron talagang stipulation para dun sa third person. And then, the contracting parties must have clearly and deliberately confirmed that in favor of the third person. So, the stipulation should be part of the whole of the contract. Hindi yung buong contract ang para dun sa third person. Kundi parte lang ang dapat favorable to the third person. Ang pang-apat, the third person must have communicated his acceptance to the obligor before its revocation by the obligee. And then neither the contracting parties bears the legal representation to the party and otherwise the rule on agency will apply. Halimbawa nito ito. Exception for the principle of relativity of contract. Halimbawa si Makisig, nakautang siya kay Lakas ng 10,000 na may interest na 12%. Pero, ang stipulation, yung 12% na yun ay dapat ibibigay kay Ganda. Si Ganda dapat malinaw sa dalawa, kay Makisig at saka kay Lakas, na ang tubo na 12% ay mapupunta sa kanya. So, yun yung sa second paragraph ng 1311. So, kailangan may acceptance si Ganda na alam nitong dalawa ni Makisig at saka ni Lakas na ang tubo o ang 12% na interest will go to Ganda. So, the principle of the exemption of to the principle of relativity of contract stipulation for or three requisites. Third person bound by contract, ano to, contract dealing with real rights, the right to defraud creditors under this article, and the contract is violated to the inducement of the third person. Pag sinabing inducement to the third person, i-discuss natin yan as we go along with kasi merong article for that. So we go to Article 1312. So 1312, the contract creating pa rin, real rights, the third person who come into possession of the object of the contract are bound thereby, subject to the provision of the mortgage law and the land registration law. Ito exemption of the principle of relativity contract, as well as with the creditor are protected in case of contracts intended to be defraud at to defraud them. Halimbawa ito, nagbigay tayong example. Si Lakas nakautang ngayon kay Ganda ng 1,000,000. Pero may property siya. May property siya. Ang ginawa niya, dinonate niya kay Makisig kasi wala nga siyang pambayad. Ang gagawin na Ganda ay kunin yung property niya. 'Di ba? Kasi may property siya na ano sa 1,000,000 ngayon. Si Ganda ay na defrauded creditor. She is a defrauded creditor. Pwede bang pwede bang i-contest or pwede bang ipatigil ni Lakas yung donation of the property to Makisig kasi may utang sa kanya ng 1,000,000. Parang intentional na binigay lang ni Lakas kay Makisig yung property kasi wala siyang pambayad sa 1,000,000 kundi kuhanin ni Ganda yung kanyang property. Yes or no? Yes, the answer is yes. Pwede niya tong ipastop yung donation na ginawa ni Lakas para kay Makisig kasi ano siya, niloko siyang creditor ni Lakas. Okay? So na, next. Another exemption, yung induce naman. Any third person who induces another to violate this contract shall be liable for the damages to their contracting party. Di ba kanina, yung mga third person, hindi, wala silang legal standing na i-question. Kasi wala naman sila dun sa stipulation ng yung dalawang party. Pag third party siya, na umupa, kagaya ng umupa, di ba, si Yumi kay Ganda sa building ni Lakas. Hindi siya legal stand, wala siyang karapatang i-oppose yung pag-rescind o pagpatigil ni Lakas sa pag-list ni Ganda kasi wala naman siya doon sa contract. Pero ang exemption ito, any third person who induce another to violate his contract shall be liable for damages. O example ito, kunyari si Makisig, action star, artista siya, may 1,000,000 contract siya sa ABS-CBN Kapuso Studio. In-induce ngayon si Makisig ni Lakas to violate the contract without any judicial justifiable cause. Walang justifiable cause. In-induce lang ni Lakas si Makisig. May habol ba si ABS-CBN Kapuso Studio? Pwede ba niyang habulin ng damages si Lakas o si Makisig lang? O comment it down below. Tara na. So, pwede nilang pwede silang mag-claim yung ABS-CBN Kapuso dapat pala kapatid no, na kay Lakas. Kasi in-induce niya without justifiable cause itong si Makisig na mag-violate siya ng contract nung dalawa. Eh may kontrata na siyang 1 million bilang action star. Okay. 13-15. Diba? Ito naman. Principle of consensuality of contract. Contract are perfected by mere consent. Diba kanina pa natin sinasabi? Paulit-ulit na lang tayo. And form of that moment the party are bound not only to for the fulfillment of what has been expressly stipulated, but also to all the consequences which, according to their nature, may be in keeping in good faith usage the law and law. Now, dito, a mere consent is may contract na. Question, how contract are perfected? As a general rule, consensual ang perfection ng contract, a mere consent. Except, for example, for real contract and formal contract, which needs to be informed. Sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, kailangan pa nga niya naka-notaryo. So, sa, di ba, nasa 1350 tayo, Article 1315. So, ang perfection is mere consent. Pero hindi lang yon. Bound na ang both parties, bound na sila to fulfill their stipulation. Halimbawa, pag may consent na sila for a certain subject matter, the moment that the parties are bound not only for the fulfillment but also to all the consequences. Lahat ng pwedeng mangyari o give rise to legal kumbaga mga legal na consequences ng contract, bound na yung both parties. Okay. Exemption also for the principle of consensual contract. Real contracts such as deposit, pledge, or comodatum are not perfected until the delivery of an object of obligation. Kailangan may deliver muna yung object bago siya kumbaga bago maging real contract. Kasi ano na siya, kumbaga halimbawa nito sige, mangungutang si Lakas kunyari kay Ganda ng 1 milyon, ang mortgage niya yung kanyang singsing na may jeep. Yan. Binigyan na siya ngayon ng pera ni Ganda, pero hindi niya na-deliver yung object. So, kumbaga, hindi siya mapaperfect until the delivery of an object of obligation. Kasi obligado na siyang ibigay yun kasi napangako niya na. Okay. May kumbaga mortgage. Yan. Under Article 1317, enforceable contract. Pag this is an enforceable contract. No one may contract in the name of another without being authorized by the latter. Halimbawa, si Ganda, may kotse siya. Binenta ngayon ni Lakas kay Yumi na walang consent si Ganda. Nabenta ngayon ni Lakas kay Yumi. Pero itong si Ganda, tinanggap yung pera na bayad ni Yumi. Ibig sabihin nun, na-ratify na siya. So, express or imply expressly by a person in behalf of who it has been executed. Kumbaga, ano na siya, expressly, ang contract is na-ratify because tinanggap niya yung bayad ni Yumi. Kahit hindi siya pumayag na ibenta ni Lakas yung kotse niya, na-ratify siya. Kasi tumanggap na siya ng bayad. So, yun yung Article 1317. No one may contract in any name without being authorized by the latter or unless it has by the law the right to represent him. A contract entered into the name of the other by one who has no authority or legal representation or has no act beyond these powers shall be unenforceable unless it is ratified. Unless it is ratified, ito yung tumanggap siya ng bayad. Pero, kung hindi niya tinanggap ang bayad, void yun. Unenforceable contract yun. Hindi po pwede yun. Invalid yung sale na nangyari. Kung wala namang authority si lakas na ibenta, binenta niya, tapos hindi naman napunta kay Ganda o hindi tinanggap ni Ganda ang pera, the contract is unenforceable. Yung unless it is ratified, yung hindi niya nga inauthorize pero tinanggap niya yung bayad, the contract has been ratified. So, it may be an expressly or impliedly by the person on whose behalf has been executed before it is revoked by the other contracting parties. Okay? Maliwanag yun ha. If you have any question, comment it down below and then I'm going to answer it during our lecture. But if you are new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified every time mag-upload ako ng lesson natin. Especially now na masyado ng madaming makeup classes na hindi naman natin madami na palang suspension and we need to have special classes. Pwedeng ito na ibibigay ko prior to the recitation so that you can study first the video, read your books, wala pa rin pong papantay sa pagbabasa ng libro kasi hindi naman lahat ng sasabi ko. So, or hindi na nalalagpasan nyo rin yung iba. So, better to read the book and then recitation will follow on our next meeting. That's all for now and good day. Bye!